Hello, gentle viewers. This is Guardian, welcoming you back to Out of the Park Baseball 23 with the Pittsburgh Pirates. Give me just a moment. Thank you to all of you who made comments on Monday's video about the audio. I have since gone back to the old setup. I've made a couple of modifications to the microphone, and I put my computer on the floor. It is a bit of a risk having it on the floor since I have a carpeted floor, but I'm fairly confident that it should reduce the hum that I know some of you have noticed in the background. Do let me know if this volume sounds good, if I need to be a bit quieter, I need to be a bit louder, and we will keep experimenting until I get where I need to go. I do apologize if you hear a little pop of static as soon as the recording begins. That is something I haven't been able to solve. I don't know why that's happening. It's only happened with this Microsoft Game Bar, or Xbox Game Bar rather. Regardless, we are trying not to cough into the microphone. We are once again flummoxed in our quest for additional World Series titles, this time by megastar Nate Sinclair melting down in a most disappointing fashion. We won 101 games, and it wasn't good enough. Alas, alack. Let us now proceed. So I want to take a quick look at our history here. Remember, the objective is to win 8 World Series. But as an astute commenter pointed out, ever since I said I wanted to win 8 World Series, we haven't won one. Which is kind of embarrassing. We have won 5. Remember, one of those championships is when we won the World Cup of Baseball as the U.S. So we've actually only won 5 World Series. Now, there's nothing wrong with winning 5 World Series, of course. It's a sign of a truly excellent team, and one that very many other teams would be happy for. But I want 8. I want more World Championships than Casey Stengel or Joe McCarthy got. Now, I will note that Casey Stengel did win one of his World Championships with a different team. He won at least one of his championships with the New York Mets. I'm going to double check that fact. Casey Stengel World Series wins. Let me see here. When did you win the World Series, my friend? Oh, he was a 9-time World Series champion. That doesn't count, though, because 2 of those are as a player. Yeah, 7 is the number, so from 49 to 53, he was the manager of the Yankees. He won another World Series in 1956. And then he did win one of his World Series with the Mets. So he won 5 in a row from 49 to 53. So 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. Then he won 56, and then he won in 58. Oh no, he didn't win one with the Mets. What am I talking about? He was the manager of the Miracle Mets, but they didn't actually win the World Series that year. They made it to the NL. They made it to the World Series, I think, but they lost. But I don't remember who they played for. I'm not sure. Anyways, enough about baseball history at the moment. Let's get back to the game at hand. Right. So, I could change teams. I don't think I want to, but I do think at a certain point we may want to start thinking about a new series. Now, I say this, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that we are still winning lots of games every year. I began as manager back in the halcyon days of 2021. And since 2027, I've never finished below 500. Not even once. And that's pretty awesome, obviously. I've made the playoffs every year between 2028 and 2066, except for 3 years. 2036, 2049, and 2053. So by any measure of Major League history, I have one of the most successful general managers in the history of the game. Except for those annoying 3 titles I don't have. And that really is grating on me. Arguably, my 2066 season was my best yet in terms of game score. But I still lost. And that sits in my craw, deep within my craw. And I don't want that to happen again. I want to win more. So we're going to keep going for now, but I do want to acknowledge the fact that people might be getting tired of me playing with the Pirates. And they want to see me try something new. So, for that reason, let us go ahead and take a look at what we need to do. We've got some arbitration decisions to make, which we'll get to in just a moment. I wouldn't hate bringing back Bruce Aguirre, but not at a major league level. I would only want him at the minor league level. Rosado wants a major league deal. Salcedo wants one. Man, none of you guys want minor league deals. I bet Leonardo Silva will be cool with it. He's going to be a bro, and I bet he signs. Okay. Do I have any coaching vacancies to fill? I know I do have 3. I was pretty bummed out. That's kind of why I gave up a bit earlier. But first things first, Nate Swenson gets promoted. No he doesn't, because that's right. That was the issue last time. I do need a new high A pitching coach. So let's find some. Hi there, Angel Esparza. Or Esparza. How would you like to be my new pitching coach in A-ball? I want somebody amazing at dealing with mechanics, even if they're not overall fantastic manager. Chris Tucker, you're in. Welcome aboard if you want to pitch with us. And then let's go ahead and grab Melvin Chrétien. Sure, that seems fine. Sort of looking at arbitration salaries here. Let's begin with some of the more obvious choices we can make. Let's look at Wynton Julian. Wynton Julian, apart from 2065, has been a pretty reliable reliever for us. He strikes lots of people out, he walks more than I'd like, and while he gives up homers, except in 2065, it's generally not a huge amount of them. He only wants a pretty minor raise. I am more than willing to give that to him. I'm not going to argue about that. I'm going to let that happen. Ivan Latona has, for 3 consecutive years, been a positive contributor. I see no reason not to give him a bit of a raise as a treat. Oh, wow, your arbitration estimate is only just 2.2. I'm not going to give you 2.9. Don't be silly. Justin Tuss. Justin has been a semi-reliable closer now for the past 2 or 3 seasons. He's been a good reliever every season and has transitioned fairly well into the closer's role. However, I am concerned about his ability to stay healthy. For a 1-year deal, $5 million for a burgeoning closer is very reasonable indeed. I'm going to try to get you to take a bit less, but I have no problem paying him for 1 year at that salary. It's a bit much, but it's not the end of the world. Tony Sanders. wants $12 million to be a pretty good shortstop and play reasonably good. To play reasonably good shortstop and to hit baseballs at a not reasonably good rate. The question for me is this. Is there anything more? Is there another level that Mr. Sanders has yet to reach with us? I think it's fair to say that there might be. He was regularly hitting 270 with the Red Sox and was dominating as a result. If he tacks on another 40 points of average and subsequent increases to on-base frontage and slugging, I think he's a much more palatable player. My question is it fair to expect that from him? I don't have an obviously better choice to play shortstop. That is one impediment to the idea of just telling him to get lost. Yes, Freddy Suarez is his equal defensively, and he's also even more of an offensive cipher than he is. Is it worth spending $12 million for a shortstop who isn't that good offensively? It's a fairly minor raise from what he's making now, which is ultimately what gives me pause. And what ultimately tells me that it's probably worth my while to bring him back at least for one more season. But next season, especially as he gets closer to free agency, we're going to have a nice long think about it. Now let's talk the elephant in the room, Franklin Verdine. For what he is, Franklin Verdine is fine. A reasonably competent defensive outfielder with pretty good wheels that hits for an okay average. There's a lot to not dislike about Verdine. If he is limiting in some ways because he doesn't have very much power and doesn't draw walks, that's fine. But the question is it worthwhile spending $6 million a season, or however much he actually wants, for a player that hopefully will never start for us again? If Franklin Verdine is starting for the Pittsburgh Pirates, it's because something has gone dreadfully wrong. Elijah Jackson is already his equal offensively, with a lot more upside offensively. And I just don't see the point in bringing him back. He is a better defensive center fielder than Elijah Jackson. That is for certain. But it's closer than you'd think. I definitely think that Elijah Jackson has a lot of potential. We could play Bond in center field, though. And Bond is way cheaper. And hit really well for us. So that's why I think I trade Verdine and see if I can't grab me an intriguing prospect of some nature. I could get Tony Trejo, who looks really special in a lot of ways. I think, no hesitation, it's a significant upgrade. Maybe not an upgrade right this second, but it is an upgrade long term. Okay. That's done. That's all those people done. You probably noticed that the owner wants us to re-sign Nate Sinclair. I have no reason not to do it. We've got loads of money, and without Nate Sinclair, this team is pretty disappointing. It is fair to ask the question, and indeed it is mandatory to ask the question, is it worthwhile giving him all this money for a fairly minor return? That is a good question. And look, the owner wants a new contract for him, and I want him to have a new contract too. Nate Sinclair has not shown any sign of decline. Yes, he's lost a little bit of velocity, but the rest of his package is still fantastic. Is it silly to expect him to do that the rest of his career? 25,000%. But I don't have anybody better, and I can hopefully mitigate some of my risk by making it a 3-year deal. I will let this happen. I'm not going to argue it. I know this contract is almost certainly doomed. This is almost certainly doomed to be a huge mistake. But it's not costing me that much money, and it puts us in a much better position going forward. It also makes the owner happy, and I'd like to keep my job. Not to mention the fact that I still think Sanders is a fantastic pitcher, and it doesn't get around the vesting option either. I could just bench him if I really didn't want him to pitch. But I mean, the man is highly likely to take home yet another Cy Young. Sorry, Mikey Smith. No, this is Cy Young in this universe, sorry. For the 12th time, which is completely absurd, and I think it's fun to keep him around. Let's talk about the other elephant in the room now. Henry Salgado. Henry Salgado had, and there's no sugarcoating this, one of the worst offensive seasons that we've ever seen with this team. From someone expected to be a big-time contributor. It is fair to ask the question, hey, did something happen to him last year that makes you think he will bounce back? And the answer to that question is sort of. His BABIP was in the toilet. Like, really, really terrible. He was not making contact at the same rate. His walks went up, his strikeouts went down. These are generally positive signs, but for whatever reason, he wasn't making contact. That being said, he is making a whole lot of money. A whole lot of money. And it is very difficult for me to accept a player that performs like this, earning $35 million a year. On the other hand, we have a different problem, and this is that other problem. It's the fact that he still has 2 years left at a very high salary. I don't think I can afford to trade him in a very literal sense. If you said, Avi, I'm going to clap my hands and make Salgado disappear for something worthwhile, I would probably strongly consider making that trade. But I can't right now. So one clear advantage I have to press next season is Javi Diaz. You may remember Javi Diaz was the highly touted first-round draft pick that we chose, who already looks like he's extremely close to being Major League ready. He's definitely going to get a shot in spring training, particularly because I don't know what we're going to do with Alex Hilliard. Hilliard has, for 2 consecutive seasons, given us 200 or so league average innings. And there's nothing wrong with that. He's also given us more than a few home runs off the bench. And there's nothing wrong with that either. But I'm not convinced at all that Hilliard is as valuable as a starter. He might be better as a reliever, in which case there's a giant opening for Diaz to take advantage of. Cool. So let's go ahead and advance time a little bit and just think on the matter of trading Henry Salgado. What could we get for him? And is it realistic? They are cleaning fucking house in Vegas, guys. Oh, that's 2 jobs just opened up. I do think if I play the game again, I think I'm going to go GM only. I think it's more interesting to have to deal with your manager, even if I don't get the fancy award for it. You're making... Okay. You just want more money? How does $200,000 grab you? Chris Tucker, I did not like you in The Fifth Element, which I thought was a good movie, but not because of you. But if you want to be a coach, I'm good with that. I find it hard to believe it's just about the money now. I'll give you 250 grand just because you're that good. But if you tell me no again, you can find a new team. And I will offer you 200 grand to be a manager. And we're just going to advance a bit of time. Esparza wants more money too. Of course, everybody wants more money. $275,000 seems good. Oh, I didn't look at Tucker. Okay, Tucker is happy. Sinclair took the new contract. Excellent news. Everybody else signed some stuff. Is there any interesting people here? No. Hell no. Absolutely not. Nope. 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 And nope. Okay, Mr. Fortune, what if I gave you an extension? You don't want an extension. You know what, Nashville? You're getting a good dude. And I'm not just saying it because Tony Fortune is an amazing name. But that's cool. If you want to move on, I have no problem with you moving on. And it's time for you to take on a new apprentice. Somebody normal or temperamental? So we're going to look at GM ratings. And I want a person who is... Let's look at normal because it's going to annoy fewer people. And I want somebody that really values development. I think that's important. If you're going to help with player loyalty, Richard Cobb, I offer you the role of my new apprentice. You don't think I really wish I'd been doing this whole time is keeping track of who my general managers were, my assistants were, and seeing how many of them won World Series once they leave me? That'd be kind of cool, actually, to track that down. I guarantee we've got another Cy Young award, but I don't know if we have anything else. I don't know if we're going to get any other fancy awards. Richard Cobb has joined us. Welcome, Richard. Well, I mean, I got Manager of the Year, and I got Cy Young again. Really, two people voted for Orlando Olivo. I would like them to be fired out of a cannon into the sun. Because he weren't no good as Nate Sinclair. But anyways. Alright. Let's go up to the Hall of Fame voting and let's see who might be awaiting bigger and better things. Not Sam McRae, anyway. Lay Hall of Fame. Who we got? Corey Anderson is a perfectly fine pitcher, so I'll give him a vote just because I don't want pitchers to get shut out entirely. Danny Berrios is even better, though. Lawrence Braithwaite is doomed, and I wouldn't vote for him anyway. Mike Brinkman. You have to respect a man who has 175, a 7 versus 177. I've got 20 spaces. I'm going to vote for both him and Jose Brown. Just for the lulz, basically. I think Ruben Cuevas deserves some consideration, so I'm going to check a vote his way. Marco Delgado is definitely a possibility. Mike Elliott, I think, deserves more consideration. I bet he gets in eventually. Steve Gahant, no, thank you. Ken Gleason is already doomed. Like, I'll give another vote to Mike Grasham. I don't think he's got much of a chance, though. I'll vote for Mike Iglesias for old time's sake. I don't even care. You can't stop me. I'm the gingerbread man. I will vote for Danny Morales. I can't help but notice how many of these people have nothing to do with the Pirates, though. Which is a bit disappointing. A lot of the guys that are clearing the let's vote on them are, I hit 400 plus home runs and that's all I did. Which isn't a Hall of Famer to me most of the time. There's got to be more than that. I'll vote for Mauricio here. I've been pretty consistent about that, even though I don't think it'll make a difference. Victor Rios. Chris Songer, yes. Orlando Varela, meh. And, wow, people really Jeff Wright. He did hit 600 home runs as second baseman. That's worthy of a closer look. And I will go ahead and vote. Free agency filings, go. Who can we get? All right. I have one and only one objective in this draft. I want to get some fucking dingers. I want somebody who can provide top quality offense for years to come. And that looks like Jose San Giorgio, and I'm absolutely not going for that. We once... clear my filter. I literally only care about raw thump and quality offense. Alright. Danny Farias has lots of pop, good contact, pretty good discipline. He seems like overall an okay dude. I wouldn't want him for like a 5-year deal, but I am happy to sign him to like a 3-year deal. I know I'm probably getting suckered in, but we have to add more power to this lineup. That's what gutted us in the World Series. And if we look at the team's batting ratings right now, I have one premium power guy, several that have okay power. I don't have a big-time thumper, and that's going to make our team just that much better. What else would I like to add? What else would make this team better? A new catcher, perhaps? A really great all-around center fielder could be a very beneficial thing to have. But I don't think there are any of those available. Maybe. Ramon Ramirez cannot play center field. Hey, it's Franklin Verdeen. They literally non-tendered him, giving him up for nothing. Cole Chisholm. I like Cole here a lot as like a secondary outfielder. I think he's got value in that department. But the thing is, I have Elijah Jackson, I have Baum. I don't really need outfielders unless there's a significant upgrade over the offense I've got right now. Yeah, unless I can find a clear upgrade at shortstop, I don't see where else we might make upgrades in the lineup. Orlando Morales can continue to provide quality backup support. I wouldn't necessarily object to getting a better piece there either. But for now, that's okay. I don't really see another obvious area to improve in other than just continuing to work on what we've already been working on. If I can get Farias, that's going to be a pretty big assistance to us. But none of these other center fielders really strike me as, yes, this player is an amazing player and should definitely be your center fielder. I just don't see that right now. Okay. If we get Farias, is there anything else I want to pursue in free agency? I will look at catcher. If there is a special catcher here, I'll think about it. Emmanuel Worsley is a no for me, dog. Esteban Munoz isn't terrible. He's a tremendous defender, but I don't think that's good enough when I've got guys like Medina and Anthony Young and other people who can potentially fill in a catcher. Yeah, guys, I really don't see... Because here's the thing. Bobby Ramirez is going to come back, and he's going to be an everyday right fielder. I have all the hope in the world that he's going to be a great contributor for years to come. Vinny Diaz really needs regular playing time for Pittsburgh. I feel like he's been ignored and abandoned, and I still think he's got a lot to offer. And then we've got Elijah Jackson, who's a really great offensive piece. If I'm not getting an elite power bat, I'm not really going to invest in any position players. That's just where I'm at right now. Pitching-wise, I've got a deep rotation. I've got plenty of quality relievers. I don't see a reason to really invest too heavily here either. If I rein it back with last year's club, I'd be pretty happy about that. I don't think we'd be losing much at all. We have got an unusually good injury luck for Pagan. He's going to fall sometime, and that's why we have Jose Barrera ready, willing, and able to take over for him should the need arise. Let's advance time a little bit. Because if Farias doesn't sign, I think we're probably going to have to pivot. I really regret having... I regret missing on Alex Luna. I think Alex Luna could have been a huge benefit to us if we'd been able to acquire him. Not as much as I miss Alex Rodriguez in the Monday franchise, but as much as I miss Alex Luna, definitely, I think he could have been a tremendous asset to us. I've offered you a job as a hitting coach. What if I offered you a promotion or a new contract? Okay. If this is going to work out, I need one very specific thing from him. I need a minimum of 40 homers. If I can get that, then he will be worth the money. And he'll be a nice piece to make us even more effective. If I can't get that, then he'll be a bust. And that's why getting the 3 years is really important to me. What is their deal? I will happily give you this offer. I don't mind offering you a bit more money. As long as you don't want more years, I don't mind giving you more money. You will give me Victor Flores. There's nothing wrong with Victor Flores. I just don't care. Not interested, please. Our old pal Juan Espinosa. Really? You're giving him that much money as a 40-year-old. I mean, holy hell, guys. He has really held on. Like, he has really put together a very solid career. I don't think it's Hall of Fame worthy, but I think it's really close. He's actually been a pretty impressive dude, all things considered. I mean, is Houston giving you a better contract? They're offering you a lot more money than I would be. It's only 3 years. That's what I keep coming back to. It's only 3 years, and I need that power bat. And I don't have any other way to get it right now. It's only 3 years. Is there anybody intriguing I want to keep on the 40-man? I only have 4 spots. Let's go ahead and start clearing some spots from Campos and Thompson. And I do want to add each of you gentlemen. I want to add you to the 40-man. What about Victor Serrano? Serrano is still a fairly talented offensive player, even if I don't think he'll ever play third base for us. I don't want to give that away for nothing. I think we'd regret it if we did. The rest of this, I don't really mind too much. Let me trade Salvatore Espinosa. I think there's just a chance he might turn out to be something interesting, and I don't want to lose him for nothing. And if I don't trade him, that's what'll happen. I'll lose him for nothing. Oscar Anaya. Okay, all-around player, hardly life-changing. I love the contact. I don't think that's a good fit for the club, though. I could get behind Tony Zamora. Good average, good power bat. Doesn't strike out very much. I could see him starting and playing center field every day for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like, short of finding, like, the thumper to end all thumpers, Nigel Gore wouldn't be terrible. But I just signed what's-his-face. You know what? I'm not going to overthink it. Hi, Travis Shivers. No, you're not worth that much to me. I don't need even more relievers. Eric Alvarez? Maybe. But I don't think so. I think the best resource I've already seen is a guy like Zamora, who can already be an everyday starting center fielder. I think he's better than Bond. He won't cost you very much, and he's a pretty good hitter all around. Wonder if I can get more prospects, though. Like, what about Juan Navarro? That's probably too much, right? Yeah, you're only asking me for people that are as good as Navarro, or who might be, yeah, who are about the same. What about an Omar Ortega? No. You know what? I'm not going to overthink this. Unless Alex Gomez has another year, which he doesn't, I'm going to happily take Zamora. And immediately offer Mr. Zamora a 40-man roster spot. Because here's the thing. I like Bond, but I don't think he's anywhere near as good as we want from a regular player. This just gives me more options, and I feel better about our outfield with the new guy. With Mr. Zamora, I think we're a more capable team. He might end up staying in AAA for a season. I have no problem with that, but it gives me more options in case some of the other youngsters don't work out. Let us, my friends, pull forward. Really? Like, this is getting patently absurd. And yet, I find myself being forced to go for it. Can I get a team option, maybe? Is that asking too much? That's asking too much, okay. Man, I don't feel great about this, but I also don't feel great about being left out in the fucking cold again. That just feels gross to me. Not having at least a medium bat or a big bat in my lineup. If I can't get a reliable power hitter for cheaper, I think I have to keep paying, and that's what drives me crazy. That's what makes me feel really unhappy. Because I know that the moment I don't accomplish this, I will regret it. Let's go ahead and send down, say, Tony Zamora and Elijah Jackson. And who is the most expendable guy on this roster now? It's Jesus Lopez. Let's quickly flip you for an intriguing prospect of some flavor or variety. You want to give me Isaiah Montgomery? Sure. Now I can get involved in the Rule 5 draft should I wish to. Any position is fine. Alright, Oscar Anaya. I just don't see it. I don't see it. He's too limited. Jay Powell is not a catcher in the least. Brandon Tipler is a decent power bat, but that's all he's got to his game. Dave Herrera is a really decent all-around hitter, but again, I'm not filled with... None of these guys strike me as, oh my god, your team is incomplete without them. If I needed a low-key second base starter, I can think of a lot worse choices than Nate Cloudy. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and opt out of this particular Rule 5. I don't really see anybody here that can contribute meaningfully to what I'm trying to accomplish this year. Okay. Friends, I am not at all sure what's going to happen, even if we do get Farias, if I'm honest with you. Like, if I get even a dead cat bounce from Henry Salgado, that by itself will put us a lot closer to being competitive. Replacing Alex Hilliard with what's-his-face? I've already blanked on his name. With Javi Diaz is another big game move that I think could make us a better team both now and in the future. Okay, we got Farias. We are going to lose a third-round draft pick, and I don't give two shits. A third-round draft pick is not a big deal to me. We get Farias. We get our thumper. And I think that just makes us better as a team. So now here's my question. Who's the odd man out in the outfield? So let's talk about who we've got right now that could be a starter. Alvarado, Diaz, Farias, Ramirez, and Salgado. Alvarado, Diaz, Farias, Salgado, Ramirez. That just covers the corners. That's 5 people for at most 3 spots. Now, Vinny Diaz could very well end up in a platoon with Bobby Ramirez. Bobby Ramirez might be able to hit left-handed pitching, but Vinny Diaz definitely can, and I think will be a better team with both of them playing. Vinny could also get some other at-bats. Vinny Diaz's spot is pretty safe. Alvarado came in. He was a high-priced acquisition, and he's done pretty well. I see no reason not to let him start as well. And I just spent on Farias. So we're maybe talking about Alvarado and Farias and Ramirez. But you'll notice at least somebody, at least Salgado out. At least Salgado out. I have every right to expect Salgado to bounce back. Every right. But I can't carry 6 outfielders. I don't think that's a thing I can do. So if we keep Alvarado, Diaz, Farias, Salgado, Ramirez, we can only carry 1 center fielder. And I don't trust any of these fuckers to play center. Not now, not ever. So we're going to have a really hard question if spring training doesn't solve itself. And I have to think that someone like Diaz ends up on the outside looking in. I truly believe that. Because I don't see a future for... I don't see a future for a guy like Diaz where I need somebody who can play every day. Because even if I'm only carrying 12 pitchers because I have Hilliard, who can kind of do both, the thing is, I don't think I want Hilliard to do both anymore. Hilliard was not a great hitter last season. We'll see what happens, though. We will definitely see what happens. We may end up trading Hilliard. I don't want Hilliard to have, like, this stranglehold over my team just because he can play 2 positions fairly well. Of course, Axlin is the best hitter in the National League last year, and indeed all of Major League Baseball. That sure would have felt good, but I gave up too early. And now I overpaid for somebody else, which makes me a bit sad. I mean, hey, they're giving me more money, which is always appreciated. A rule change. Interesting. The minimum service time for agency has now dropped to 7 years. So it's still higher than in real life, but this is interesting. I like that idea a lot, actually. It's probably going to definitely change how I need to... Oops. Hang on. Just some up spring training, please. I thought I'd picked some to opening day, but I definitely want to make sure that people are added to the spring training roster. That's interesting. I'm hoping that means more players hit free agency younger. But it's also going to indirectly hurt us when we start paying for the great players we develop earlier. So we might want to make some important contract extension offers. I think that's highly appropriate. I keep feeling Salgado's the odd man out. Like, really in my heart of hearts. That's kind of how I'm starting to feel about Salgado. Hey, Orlando Salgado got better. That's pretty cool. Alex Medina's gotten better. Juan Love has gotten better. Hilliard went and improved significantly as a hitter. Interesting. Very interesting. Michael Broadwater got better. I like seeing all this improvement. Vinny Diaz is better. Danny Farias is about the same. Danny Alvarado is about the same. Bobby Ramirez. I said to spring training, you potatoes. All right. Spring training begins. Let us begin with Javi Diaz. Jordan Falcone is a hard no for me right now. Maybe someday, but not right now. Angelo Robinson, you are a fantastic defensive shortstop. Like, you're truly exceptional. I am more than willing to give you some spring training reps to see if you might be more. That is an unexpected joy to see. Other than that, I think I'm good. I don't really see a ton of value in calling anybody else up to give them a spring training reps. I don't think it helps. Right. Skibbity bop da bop bop boo. Cool. Jordan the Falcon. And then Zamora, Jackson, and Ban are all going to be competing. Jackson is clearly the best hitter of the center fielders, which I think is what makes him the best reserve. Zamora's not a terrible hitter, but he's a better defensive center fielder than Jackson. Oh no, what happened to Bobby Ramirez? Bobby, no! What have you done, my beautiful boy? I have to hope you're just tired because you didn't play baseball all season, maybe? I don't know. You can do all the things if you'd like. I don't approve of playing Williams over any of my other right field options. But it looks like they're swapping him out fairly frequently, so I don't mind as much. Let's do a 6-man rotation. And who we got? You guys really don't like Hilliard now, do you? That's fine. Let's spring training it, yo. Okay, cool move, Victor Serrano. You finally get some time in the majors, and you're like, nope, I'm just going to get hurt. Well, you can go right back to the minors then. It was nice knowing you. Maybe I do let Hilliard stay on the team and let him pick up some reps every now and again in the outfield, because he does seem like he's a reasonably good hitter. Potentially. I'd almost rather not have Hilliard at this point, which is weird, right? Like, it's bizarre, but it's true. I mean, I guess I'm getting a really high-quality reliever for a small amount of money, so maybe this is just me being stupid, but I don't know, friends. I don't know, friends. I mean, Javi Diaz making spring training and then shitting the bed doesn't help. It's fine. We'll figure it out. Alright. So let us advance, not a week. I just want to advance till after all the games are played. You may be wondering why I do that. It's because if someone's going to get injured and make my decision easier, I want them to get injured so that I have a chance to deal with it. Okay. So we presently have a roster of 41 players, of whom 20 are pitchers. That's way too many pitchers. So let's start sending people to the minors. I see no benefit to not keeping Fuji, especially when he had an amazing season last year as a reliever. I just want to send him back to being a reliever. I said set him as a reliever. Thank you. Josh Brown, no. Alex Cloud, no. Park, no. Velo, no. I'm now down to 16 pitchers. That's too many pitchers, guys. That's way too many pitchers. The rotation is basically set. I don't think the rotation is where we're going to save any time here. McTavish can go to the minors. That's 15 pitchers. That's still too damn many. Oh, Manny Castillo is also being listed as a pitcher. He's gone already. Oh, Angelo Robinson is being considered a pitcher. Don't be fucking stupid. Game, I don't know what would ever convince you to make him a pitcher, but no, he's a position player. He is not a pitcher. That gets you down to 13. I don't really want to carry 13 pitchers, but I guess it's actually Julian now, isn't it? He's the most expendable of my pitchers. What can I get for trading Mr. Julian, I wonder? If I can get an average to above average prospect for him, I will almost certainly take the plunge. You're just a worse version of Julian. There's a lot to like about Julio Fernandez, in all honesty. Good defender, decent overall offensive package. There's a lot to like about Julio Fernandez. Jose Correa can't really play center. Nelson Ramos is good, but hardly outstanding. Chris Normand is the kind of first baseman that I think always looks worse than he actually is because he's not going to hit for a massive amount of homers, but I really think he's got some potential. Not enough for me to go after him, though. I actually do think that Julio Fernandez is the play here. I think there's enough upside there. I mean, I'll ask for more, but they're probably going to tell me to get fucked if I do. But yeah, sure, I will ask for more if more can be had. Like, I know you wouldn't give me David Boone, and I don't actually think I want David Boone. The Booner. What about Manny Salcedo, or is that too much to ask? No, you don't like that deal. By sort of power and movement, is there anybody here? How about David Benitez? No, David Benitez breaks the deal for you. You know what? I'm just going to make this trade. I'm not going to overthink it. Thank you for your years of service, Mr. Julian, but I think your time has come. I want you to be a specialist. I want to go to a 5-man rotation, and I want Fujii to be a middle reliever that gets used fairly often. I'm also going to go ahead and set Latona to 7th inning. Wait, who's my stopper? That was Ed Hodges. Yeah, Ed Hodges. You're the stopper. You're not a long reliever. That way I can save Justin Tusk for the 9th inning. And I guess you can be a 7th inning guy, Hilliard? And I am going to go ahead and turn you back on as a two-way player. I do think having you does make us a little bit more effective. I'm just not going to let you play as much as you have been. Unless I decide to make you an everyday outfielder, which seems unlikely. Alright, pitching staff is set, which means Javi Diaz, congratulations, you made the Major League roster. I have 4 catchers right now. And I don't know who among them is truly worthy of being a catcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Like, Roberson is decent. He's not amazing, but he's decent. And I guess that's the overall issue I have, is all of our catchers are, to a greater or lesser degree, merely okay. Anthony Young had a pretty decent Major League year last year, so I'm really inclined to let him have another shot. I'm going to try trading Hector Medina. And I think we're going to go with Glasgow as the backup. Just because Glasgow's got a pretty solid bat. What could I get for a Hector Medina? Really very little. And I guess I'm not surprised. I guess I'm not that surprised. Ivan Avila, his name is Lobster. I see no downside to this. Man, Medina really strikes me as a bust for us. Medina came very highly courted. And he just never panned out. Like, literally at all in his entire life did he ever turn out to have anywhere near the raw potential that we thought he would. Which is a real shame. It's a real disappointment, but I think we'll make do. Okay. Gotta go to 6 more position players. 6 more gotta go. Suarez, I'm not going to carry. I want Robinson playing in Double-A. I want to see if there's any ability to make this bat work. But he is very much high on my radar right now. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and turn off demotion and promotion so I can keep an eye on him. So the infield is set. I've got to carry Barrera, both because he's actually a pretty good hitter, but also in case Pagan gets hurt, and he's also a really nice bat to have off the bench. So Jonathan Baker goes to the minors. That's an easy choice. All right, I have way too many outfits. I've got to get rid of 3 of you. I'm going to compare Bond and Zamora. Because I think here's the first one that I'd really think about changing. Zamora is the better hitter. Both by potential and by current capabilities. Is he better against right-handed pitching? Yes, but I think he can hold his own against left-handed pitching. He's a faster player. He'll get more steals. At that much, he's better. Defensively, Zamora's got a much better arm and slightly worse range. I think Bond goes to the minors. I think Bond goes to the minors for now with the expectation of being called up fairly quickly if something happens. Okay. 2 more position players gotta go. Do I need Elijah Jackson and Tony Zamora? Elijah Jackson has never played AAA. Elijah, get through to AAA. And let's let you develop. Improve your bat. And then we can talk about you in the future. Now I've got to get rid of 1 more player. It seems patently obvious that it has to be Vinny Diaz, except for the fact I don't want to put him through waivers. I don't. if I put him through waivers, we will lose him. And I believe enough in him that I want to have a chance. So guess what that means? Julian Williams are going back to the minors. Now, that gets us down to 26. Let us go ahead and do some nuking. Let us nuke all of the players, not literally, but purely figuratively. Alright. The very best hitter on the team is Tony Pagan. I think I can now safely bat Pagan third and put Farias cleanup. And Farias will play left. No, he won't play left field for us. Oh, where does Farias play? I didn't think of that. I could put him in right. Let's put him in right. Bobby Ramirez is going to play not at all now. Shit. Because Alvarado is going to bat fifth and play left. And Henry Salgado's got DH on lock. Interesting. Okay. I'm trying Salgado out as leadoff because the one skill that hasn't eroded is his ability to draw walks. So I think letting him bat leadoff might actually help the team in a real way. All of my best hitters are outfielders, and I can only play 3 of them. That's kind of yikes. I sure didn't expect that. Not in the least. If I were to kick the tires on trading Salgado, everyone's going to tell me to go fuck myself, right? Or give me an even worse deal. Like, I'm not making that up, right? Yeah, I can get an overpriced reliever or several mediocre relievers. I just don't think I want to trade him right now. I think Salgado is more valuable to us than anybody else here. Okay. Cool. So, okay. Where does Almaguer bat? I think Almaguer works best as a 6th hitter, where he's not necessarily expected to contribute as much. Orlando Morales is not the guy's thinking. Sorry, Palacios is. Palacios is going to go. Actually, Palacios is going to bat 6th. Almaguer is going to bat 7th. I guess by default, Tony Zamora is going to be batting 2nd. Just because I don't really have another option that I feel comfortable with. He's very limited, but also I just don't have a better choice right now. The catcher is Anthony Young. He's going to get another shot. And then Tony Sanders. Actually, Tony Sanders could bat 2nd if I knew he was going to hit for average. I think I will bat him here just to put less pressure on Zamora. And let's generate a depth chart. Now, they're going to want to play... I guess I don't mind if we're really creative and moving people around a lot. Because remember, Farias and Alvarado are both in their 30s. And so... I don't mind them moving around if that's what makes the most sense for the team. I don't want Glasgow playing quite that often. But is it weird that I don't hate this? Look, we've got so many good offensive players. It makes sense to go ahead and just let them do whatever they want for now. And Farias getting time at both corners is going to make him more valuable to us. I don't hate this. I don't love it, but I don't hate it either. At least to start the season, it makes a lot of sense to me to see what we actually have. I'm going to do something else this season. I think Orlando Morales is getting overexposed purely by virtue of the fact that he can play, that he's a right-handed hitter. I'd rather play Palacios, even with him being an absolute zero against left-handed pitching, and take advantage of his superior defense. I think that's just a better fit for the team. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to play Palacios every day. I will bat Almaguer above him now. This is a really interesting problem to have that I didn't anticipate on having, that I would just have this many good outfielders. And Forrest is going to be playing most of the time, because only every 4 games he gets a break, but he's also playing left every 3 games. And this problem also kind of solves itself when Alvarado goes. And I'm definitely going to offer him a qualifying offer to try to get a draft pick out of him. But this is your opening day lineup. How do I feel about it? I could and maybe should package some of these outfielders together to trade for a truly exceptional outfielder. Noted. But this is a team with some really old players getting a lot of at-bats, which means their time is rapidly coming to a close. And I don't want to turn to a situation like happened just a couple years ago, where I had no good young outfielders because I traded them all to make room for other players. So how do I feel about this team this season? Item the first. I feel better about the lineup than I did last year. And I like the idea of playing a lot of different people in the outfield, at least for the first couple of months, and then whoever the hottest hand is gets the job. I think that's going to be really beneficial. I am worried we're giving Salgado, Sanders too big a role. But I love the idea of having Farias. I do think we overpaid for him. I don't think there's any question we overpaid for Farias. It's not even negotiable for me that we overpaid for him. But we had to get a bigger power bat into the lineup if we were going to compete come playoff time. So that's where we're going to make our hay. If we make it to the playoffs, then we have a player like Danny Farias, who's much more capable of hitting the big bomb when we really need it. I also think Salgado to lead off is going to have positive effects up and down the lineup. It's going to make us a better team. It's going to make sure that guys like Sanders get better pitches to hit. It's going to give Pagan more options. It's going to make us a better hitting team, I think. That said, there's a lot of question marks in this lineup. And while I trust 3 of the top 5, sorry, Tony Sanders, to be reasonably good contributors. I'm less certain about 6 through 9, and I think this is every season. However, I think Tony Zamara's got a lot of promise. Anthony Young played really well last season, and I don't think anyone's going to be an absolute waste. I will very closely monitor Palacios now that he's not getting an every other day off, but I feel pretty good about it. The pitching staff, I have less than no concern about. I think Javi Diaz is going to be a really great addition to the club. One other thing. Michael Broadwater, you are not only throwing 75 pitches anymore. You're getting up to 90. Orlando Salgado has pitched 2. I think 100 pitches is fine for him. And Javi Diaz is definitely going to work his way up. I feel really good about our pitching staff. I think Ed Hodges is a tremendous asset. He's going to be pitching a lot. Yeah, I really see no downside to Mr. Ed Hodges getting lots of extra pitching time. And then Alex Hilliard is going to shift into relief, which I think is going to give him a lot of benefit. I think he'll be much more effective. Plus, I still got him being able to hit every now and again. Before we end today's episode, how has this affected us? Okay, we've lost a year of arbitration for Tony Sanders. That is going to be an extremely difficult conversation that we're going to have, but it has to happen. Tony Sanders wants to get paid big bucks, and I just don't think he's worth it. I will completely accept the fact that I might be wrong, though. 100%. If he wows me this season, I'll probably give him another year or two. But I don't necessarily think he is going to wow me. Last year was the worst year of his career. Is that a trend, or is that temporary? That I don't know. I do know that if Angelo Robinson improves even slightly offensively, I think he might be the opening day shortstop next year. So we're going to keep a real close eye on him, and very, very probably end up trading somebody else. I'm not bringing back Alvarado. Alvarado's very specific skill set is one that I've already got in lots of other players. I'm not going to give up on him yet, but he is the most vulnerable of my starting outfielders. He's the one I'm most inclined to move on in favor of, say, Vinny Diaz and Bobby Ramirez platooning. I think that probably results in an overall equivalent, if not better, offense. But I'm not going to do it yet. Because Danny Alvarado, in a lot of very important ways, carried this offense last season. So, that is going to conclude today's episode. Hopefully, the audio was a lot nicer, and you're able to hear everything, and it was great. Please join us next time when we will play through another season and see what kind of mischief we can make. And until next time, this has been F Guardian. Thank you for watching, and I bid you good day.